It is time for part two of our two NFL podcasts a week. This is the second one. We're going to preview week two. Hopefully, you joined us for the review of week one. If not, make sure you go back and check that out. Al, how you doing?
Excellent, man. Excellent. Ready to rumble. This is going to be week two in the NFL, baby. It's going to be interesting to see what was real and what was an illusion in week one because there's always some illusions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. With the league, I don't think really starts to take shape till like week 4 or 5.
I agree. 100%.
But
100%.
okay, all right. First up, do you want to run this? I think last year you were hosting for the preview show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Okay. All
All
right,
right.
my man. Well, let's dive in with Thursday night then in one of the better matchups of the week Bills at Dolphins. What do you think?
Okay. Well, I said in the review that I was not overly impressed with Buffalo,
Mm-hmm.
and that stands true here. Um, I wasn't overly impressed with Miami either, especially their defense. But no, I was. Well, I'm sorry, I wasn't overly impressed with Miami overall, but their defense was pretty impressive.
Agreed.
Buffalo's was not. Buffalo's defense was not.
Absolutely.
So Miami is at home. And I think they go to 2-0. I'm going Miami 38-28. I'm thinking it's going to be a high scoring game.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Um, we're not that far off here. Yeah, this came down to definitely the home thing made it easier. I might have still picked the Dolphins on the road here, but I'm not sure. But given it home, there's no way I wasn't picking the Dolphins. And I picked it 34-24.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so we both had 10-point spreads.
Yes. Yes. Pretty high scoring. Yeah. Yeah. I just think it's the way Buffalo's defense played week one, going off of that, and how Miami's defense. They're at home. It all adds up to Miami. So that because of that, Buffalo's going to win in the blowout, but we'll see.
Yeah, totally, man, totally. Yeah, but I am with you on the surface for sure. All right, cool. I don't think there's anything really specific I want to talk about that game. No, no, there's no. Yeah, that's pretty. That's a fun one to watch. Good Thursday night matchup.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Sunday. So we're going to start with 49ers at Vikings.
Okay. Um, well, the 49ers look great.
Yeah.
And even if McCaffrey doesn't play, I have no concerns anymore that I would have had going in, not seeing what happened last night or what happened on Monday night. Um, so, I think if McCaffrey has to sit again, it's not a problem. I don't think Minnesota's that good of a team at all. They played a putrid Giants team. So even at home, I'm still going San Francisco. But I am giving Minnesota some respect. I'm going San Francisco 24-19.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, I'm with you on the McCaffrey thing. That Jordan Mason performance just eased any concerns I had about them playing without McCaffrey for sure. Um, and the Vikings, while very impressive in week one, did it against one of the worst teams in the league. So I'm not sure exactly what that meant. Um, I am giving them a little less respect, I guess, significantly less respect actually, based on my score. Even though I kind of, I don't think that poorly of them, but I just think the Niners are that good. I'm going Niners 35-16.
35-16. Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Oh,
Um yeah, yeah, I can't see any scenario where I'd pick Minnesota, so.
yeah, it would be impossible for me to pick them. The Niners are just too good, man. The Niners are a team that it's going to be hard to pick against very often. You know what I mean?
Yep, yep.
Um, so we'll see. It's going to come up a few times for sure. There's going to be a road matchup against a good team or something where I pick against them. I'm sure, but I don't anticipate picking against them more than 3 or 4 times this season. We'll see.
Yep.
All right, now. This is kind of an interesting one after the way week one went. The Seahawks, not the greatest game to watch necessarily, but the Seahawks at the Patriots.
Right. Well, we believe New England stinks, but their defense is for real.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Um, so I don't think you can. In Seattle's not exactly world beaters on offense,
Absolutely.
so I'm anticipating a low scoring game. But I'm still going, even though it's a road team, I'm still going with what I believe to be the better team. Seattle isn't spectacular anywhere, but they're not bad anywhere either. They're solid as a rock, and a nice tidy 21-14 win over New England. And yeah, and I think New England's going to really put up a fight until the very end when Seattle gets that last touchdown.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, I'm looking at pretty similar. The big issue this week. I'm not going to do a caveat on this, but the news has not come out yet on George Fant, the offensive lineman I mentioned in our recap of last week's show, that review show. I mean that went out. They're saying day to day, but I've seen guys listed as day to day that end up being out for a month eventually. So who knows? If
Right.
he's out, that's two starting linemen, offensive linemen. They're down against a really good defense. So if you and I are wrong about this pick, because I'm taking the Seahawks too, it's going to be because of that in my mind. But I still feel pretty confident picking the Seahawks, but in a squeaker 2016.
Yep. Yep. We both got it close. The only thing for New England is that, we're keeping these games close, and they're going to win a couple that maybe even surprise us, like last week. But if their defense is just on the field all the time, eventually it's going to wear down.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen that before with really good defenses on with bad offenses. So I'm with you. Yeah, it's going to be how much offense can they muster with a solid quarterback who really should be a backup, but is one of the best backups in the league, and a very good running game. What can they score 20 points a week? I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
if they
because
can, if they can, they're gonna approach 500 if they can score 20
yeah,
points a week.
well, because they're throwing to nobody. That's the problem.
Yes, and it's bad. Yeah, it's real bad.
No receivers.
Yeah. All right, man. Anything else on that one?
No, I'm all set.
Okay, so let's go to our division, but not our teams. Giants at Commanders.
Giants at Commanders. Well, the Giants are in contention for the worst team in the league, and Daniel Jones is in contention for the worst quarterback in the league. Um, they have talent on defense. We said that before. It didn't really show up in the last game, but I still think they do have some talent on defense, and they own Washington. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they own them. I wish I probably should have called up the numbers on the last like 3 or 4 times, or the last 5, 6 times they played them. I bet you they've only lost maybe one out of the last
Well, I
six.
looked it up, man, and I don't know because Daniel Jones missed a few of these games, but the Daniel Jones numbers in his career 5-1-1.
Yeah, there you go. 5-1-1.
That's
I don't know
impressive.
why.
Yeah, I don't know why either, but yeah, it has. It can't mean nothing.
Right, but they looked so bad. I can't. I just can't pick them. I'm going Washington 17-13 in another low scoring game. I can't pick them, but the numbers are there. I would not be surprised if they pull this off. I really wouldn't. But I'm going Washington 17-13.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, I just can't pick the Giants after the way they looked either. I don't care if it's the Commanders or anybody. The only team I might have picked them against this week would be the Panthers if they were playing them at home.
Right. Well, the Panthers they're like the only team that look worse than them.
Yep, that's the only team I can see picking the Giants over right now. So, that being said, I'm obviously going with the Commanders, and I'm going to go 17-10 in the same sort of low scoring affair you were talking about.
Oh, 17-10, 17-13. Okay.
Yeah, pretty similar. Um, yeah, this is just it's a does the Giants defense pull together like you said? I think they are better than they showed for sure. Um, is Daniel Jones actually as bad as he looked this week? Because I think it's the truth is though he's a little better, but I still don't think he's a good quarterback. And what's the game two of the Jaden Daniels era? And can they involve their best receiver?
Yeah, because Terry McLaurin's just like an albatross for some reason.
Yeah, I don't understand it. And can somebody rush for more yards than Jaden Daniels does as one of the running backs?
Yep, yep.
So yeah, all right. Well, that's a fun little matchup for us NFC East people, but probably not the rest of the people out
No.
there. So let's move on now to not exact another not exact barn burner here. Chargers at Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, we're picking a lot of road teams here, by the way.
Yeah, you know me and road dogs, but these are not road dogs. These are
Miami's the only home team we've picked so far. Or no, I'm in Washington. But
yes.
Seattle and San Francisco both on the road, and I'm going on the road here for this one as well. I can't see a scenario where I'm going to pick Carolina in any games
Hmm.
unless they start showing me something as the year goes on, and even then, it's going to be tough. So it doesn't really matter who they play. I'm going to pick against them for right now because they looked so bad.
Yeah.
I hope it's not this bad. I hope Bryce Young can improve, and it was just a really bad game. But for right now, I can't consciously pick against them. Plus, the Chargers look pretty good. Harbaugh's making a difference there already, and I like the direction they're headed. So Chargers 30-16. I have a pretty big spread there.
Right on, right on. I totally get that. Yeah, I echo a lot of what you're saying. Panthers are bad. Bryce Young is. I mean, we are a few games from officially calling him a bust here. I mean, halfway through the season, if he has not improved a little bit, I'm ready to call it. I give him 8 games this year, and if he doesn't play any better than he showed so far, it's disaster time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe we're here already with that, but here we are. And yeah, and Harbaugh's getting them on track. I wasn't blown away with their first week, but they beat a team that's not nearly as good as I predicted them to be, um, like they should have. So credit to him and the team. So I'm going Chargers on the road, but a little closer, 20-13.
Okay. That's reasonable. All right.
Okay, and now you definitely take this one, Saints at Boys.
I picked against Dallas last week and it worked. But the Saints, I don't care. They scored 47 against Carolina. We discussed this. We don't think the Saints are that good. I
Yeah.
definitely don't think so. I think they're in their division. They're the third best team probably,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, yep,
yeah, and they're not. I don't think they're really a playoff threat either.
I agree.
Yeah. So and it is Dallas at home. And if you remember last year, they won like something like they were on like a 16 game streak winning at home or something, whatever it was before
That's
Green Bay
right.
went in there and trounced them. But
That's
before
right.
that, they won like what? I think it was 16 in a row.
That sounds right. I'm pretty sure you're right about that. I don't know if I can find that, but I'll try while you're going.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Well, regardless, I'm going to go Dallas. New Orleans with their weapons and how much they scored last week, I gave them a little bit of respect in terms of the score. So I go 26-20 Cowboys.
26-20. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Yeah, I am giving a little less respect to the Saints, but I just think the Cowboys are just in a whole nother league and playing at home. So I'm going 30-16 boys.
Okay, I will definitely take that.
Right on. Right on. I love it. I love it. Trying to think if there was anything I wanted to say about that. Here's the one interesting thing about that Saints game that I didn't say on the review show. They scored a ton of points and had a heck of a game, and their best receiver had one catch for 3 yards, Chris Olave.
Yeah, that's weird. Dude. Was he banged up at all?
Not that I know of. I'm going to double check now, or check for the first time now, I should say. Um, let's see here. Because I just saw the stat line. I never checked up to see if he was injured. Oh, I'm sorry. It was one catch for 11 yards. I don't know why I thought it was three. Um, not that much better. I am seeing nothing about an injury at all. It just says Chris Olave quiet in Sunday's route. Olave held the 11 yards and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it doesn't look like he was injured.
Okay. Now this would be typical Dallas to lose this game because there's no reason why they shouldn't win.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
get
last
it,
year
man.
against Arizona, week 2 they blew it, or
Yeah,
week
yeah, yeah.
3, whatever it was. I think it was week 3, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, week three, I think, and then and every good team usually has one of those games a year, like the Eagles. What was their last year? They lost to the freaking Jets. The
Yeah.
Zach Wilson Jets.
Makes no sense.
Ugh. So yeah, but yeah, I think Cowboys big this week. We'll see. I'm. That's a fun one to watch because I just want to see if the Saints are any like are they 6 wins or worse, or are they pressing for 500? I don't know if they're
Yeah,
really bad.
basically, we're looking for answers to questions if they're legitimate.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And if they can hang with the boys on the road, then they're semi legitimate. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Cool. So next one, and this I don't know if it's game of the week, but it's one of them. Colts at Packers.
Okay, another fun one. Richardson against Love. Fantastic.
Yes.
I'm excited about it. Green Bay is at home, and they had a good showing for themselves against the Eagles on the road. Well, in Brazil, but technically on the road. But regardless, um, I was overly, overall pretty impressed and thought that they kind of legitimized last season for the high expectations for this season. I think anybody who has high expectations for them can still have those expectations
Yeah,
to some degree at least.
I agree.
And Indianapolis is kind of meddling right now. I think they're solid, but they're not spectacular. Green Bay's at home. I go Pack 27-17 to get on the winning column. I can't see them going 0-2.
Right on. Right on. Okay. Now, I mentioned in our 10 seconds before we start the podcast when we're on the phone that I had one game that has a caveat, and this
Okay.
is it. And that caveat is if Love is in, Packers 27-24. If Love is out, Colts 28-13.
What was the if Love is in? What's the score?
27-24 Pack. And if he's out, 28-13 Colts.
Who's their backup?
Malik Willis,
Oh, that's
who
right.
who by the way they traded for 3 weeks ago.
I might have to have the same caveat.
I don't blame you at all. If you want to, you are absolutely welcome to. And by the way, it came out. Packers. I'm going to pull it up. Yeah, if Jordan Love misses games with injuries, Malik Willis will be the starter for as long as Love is sidelined. So they're not signing Ryan Tannehill or whoever you want them to, not you, but anybody out there wants them to sign. They are sticking with Malik Willis.
But we don't know. We don't know about Love yet.
All we know is that he sprained his MCL. Early reports were he could miss 3 to 6 weeks, but then very quickly it became he is week to week and may even play this week. But I have seen nothing concrete at all.
All right. Um. Hmm.
Caveat it up if you want, man, because I sure am. It's a whole different game to me if Love isn't playing.
You know what? I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna stick to the Green Bay 27-17.
Right on, right on. And it is possible they have a good enough team to pull that off for sure without Love. But
Especially at home.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's no joke playing at Lambeau for sure. Cool. All right. Well, that's going to be something to keep an eye on, big time.
Yes.
And let's just see Anthony Richardson just continue his growth. I hope. I'm so excited about this guy.
Me too.
All right. Now, what the heck does that say? I'll figure that out after I read another one. Let's do Jets at Titans next.
Okay. Kind of similar to Green Bay. I can't see them going 0-2. The Jets are not going to go 0-2. The Jets are going to win this game. Another road team. And I've got everything showing up for them this week. I think Tennessee's a fraud team. They blew that game last week that they should have won. And I still say the Jets are absolutely for real. Rodgers, while not perfect, still looked really good, better than anything they've had in years.
No doubt.
And I'm predicting them to just stomp Tennessee out 30-13.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I feel very similar. Um, Yeah, until we see any kind of growth from Will Levis, I can't pick them to win many games against decent teams, and I definitely consider the Jets to be a decent team. So I didn't have quite the margin, but still a pretty good trouncing 28-16 Jets.
All right. I also think too, their defense is better than they played against San Francisco, so I expect a big defensive effort as well.
Yeah, definitely. Here's the thing to watch this week is can they stop Tennessee's run game because they got run through like they didn't have a defensive line this week,
Right.
and the one thing the Titans did really well this past week was run.
Yep.
So they're going to be forced to improve their biggest weakness right away. so that's the one glimmer of hope I see for the Titans, but not enough to even consider picking them to win.
I tell you what, if the Jets lose this game, it is alarm bells time.
Oh yeah, man! Especially in New York, man. I mean, that it is gonna. You might get another RELAX,
Yeah.
relax from Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I love it. All right, man. Good to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one I couldn't read was the Browns at the Jaguars.
Interesting game. I wasn't coming into the season thinking this, but Deshaun Watson's a problem.
I agree.
A big, big problem.
Big
And
problem.
Jacksonville played well on defense against Miami, holding that team down.
Yep.
In the way Cleveland can't do anything on offense, I got Jacksonville winning this game. They're at home, 20, tight one, 21-20.
Okay, okay, nice. Yeah, and we talked about this with the Patriots a minute ago, but the Browns, after watching Deshaun Watson in Week 1 and no Nick Chubb, not much of a running game at all, and Watson playing like garbage, they're in they're in danger anyway of being in the New England category of a great defense that gets burnt out because their offense is so bad.
And who would have thought?
Who would have thought is right, man. So yeah, I'm going Jaguars, and I'm going a little bigger here because I don't have any faith in the Browns' ability to score against this Jaguar team after what they did to Miami last week. So 26-11 Jaguars.
26-11. Okay.
Going for one of those weird scores, late two-point conversion or something weird.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, man. Now, what do we have next? Now, here's another one of the more fun games this week, and that is the Buccaneers at the Lions.
Definitely a fun one, especially the way Tampa Bay is playing.
No doubt.
Um, you know, we said it in the review, just continuing right off where they left off last year, maybe even a little better. Baker looked so good. I can't say enough about how good he looked. Um,
Absolutely, man, and stunning.
but Detroit looked really good too, obviously. And
Mhm.
it's the second straight home game. Um, you know, I don't know how good Tampa will be for the whole year, but this is one I think that they don't have the talent to keep up with Detroit. Um, they're not, the Tampa Bay look good, but they're not world beaters.
Yeah.
And I got Detroit winning this one 27-21.
27-21. All right. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said there. I mean, almost everything to a T. Bucks, very impressive. And that week 1 win was just super impressive. They couldn't have been any better. They really couldn't. But the Lions are a better team overall, and they're at home. So this was a relatively easy pick, 31-26 Lions. Now, if the Bucks win this game, I'm reassessing everything with that team, even further than did after
Yeah,
week 1.
absolutely. If they win, yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, they've now vaulted into teams we got to really consider as threats in the playoffs, and that's which I did not think I'd be saying that 2 weeks ago, man. So credit to them. All right, now another one, last of the 1 o'clockers, Raiders at Ravens.
Okay, I think this is an easy one. Um, Baltimore at home, another team. Can't see them going 0-2. No way. No way. They're gonna have a chip on the shoulder. I think they're gonna handle business with Vegas here. 31-20, and it might not even be that close. I think Baltimore is gonna make a statement. You can make a case they should have won that game, or at least came a lot closer against Kansas City. They're at home, home opener. Yeah, everything is pointing towards Baltimore.
I completely agree. My Raiders 9-8 pick doesn't look great in week one. Maybe they can pull it together, maybe not. That was one I was reaching on a little bit, and I knew it when I said it. But I don't care what Raiders team played in how good they played in week one. There's no way I'm picking them to go to the Baltimore and beat the Ravens in any scenario.
Right.
And I'm picking the Ravens big, 38-16.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep.
And
Handling business.
this is by the way, this is the game where we find out what they want to do with Derrick Henry when they have the choice.
Right, when they have the lead, and I'm assuming they're going to pound him.
That's what I'm thinking too. So let's see let's see if that assumption is correct. I think it is, but we'll find out this week. I think based on how that game's going to go. All right. Um, okay, now we're moving to the 4 o'clock games. First one, Rams at Cardinals.
Okay. Uh, Continuing the theme here of a lot of road teams. Um, I'd like Arizona to be a little better than they were last year, but it's another team, the Rams. I have too high hopes for them to start 0-2. So I got to go with the Rams. Um, as long as everybody's healthy, I know Puka's not, but if Cup is, and Karen Williams is, and Stafford is, that should be enough to get by Arizona 28-17. Um, I don't want to disparage Arizona too much. I still think they're going to be a little better than last year. They're not a complete disaster, and I know this is going to start them out 0-2, but I can't have the Rams start 0-2. No way.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. Yeah, there's no way I can see the Rams going 0-2, and I just think so highly of them. And they played a team I think even higher of, incredibly tight. So nothing changed, like we said in the review show. Nothing changed in my opinion about that team after week one loss to a very good Lions team, um,
On the road.
on the road. Yes, and this Cards team, while they were impressive, they had a second half meltdown, but listen, they were leading a good team. Well, we don't know what the Bills are yet, but I think most people are picking them to at least be over 500, right? So,
Yeah.
so they were leading that team 17-3 with 20 seconds left in the first half. So there were some
Yeah.
positives in that first game, but not enough for me to pick them against a team I think very highly of. Rams 30-24.
All right. We're giving them some respect, though. We're not picking blowouts.
Yeah, we're not picking blowouts for sure. And, that one, the Rams are going to have to play well to win that game based on what I saw in week one. They're not,
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
Cardinals are
The
no
fact
longer
that,
a gimme.
yeah, absolutely not.
Dig it. Okay. Now to a game that was fired up for about 48 hours ago, and now I think a little differently. Bengals at Chiefs.
Uh, well, Cincinnati is playing Kansas City at the right time, in my opinion, because they're going to start 0-2 no matter who they play, so they might as well get a hard one out of the way
Yeah, right, right.
because that's what they do. They're going to be 0-2, probably 1-3 by the time they really get going. And it would suck if they get going and then a week like 8 they have the Kansas City on the road because they would lose that regardless.
Right, right. That's a good point.
But you know, I hope that they right the ship a little bit, play this one close. But for right now, Kansas City's healthy. They're looking good. And Marquise Brown is still 4 weeks, right?
Yes, he won't be back until at least week 5.
Okay. Well, regardless, they still look good. They're at home, 38-21, Kansas City.
Okay, okay, cool. Um, Also, I want to throw this out. It looks like T. Higgins is going to be out again.
Right, and that's a big target for him.
It is. That's huge, and it shouldn't turn them from a playoff contender to one of the worst teams in football, like it looked last week. But that's also their early season woes that are a thing for some mysterious reason there too. So yeah, T. Higgins being out doesn't help any team. So
Right,
they except Kansas City this week.
right.
so um, so yeah, and I listen. I couldn't have been less impressed with what I saw with the Bengals last week. And with T.
Oh,
Higgins out again, I'm going Chiefs and I'm going huge, man. 42-17.
wow. All right. I like it. I like the bold pick. The
Right
the
on.
big number.
Right on. Thank you. That was I wanted to make something bold this week, and that ended up being the one. Hey, by the way, we haven't had a different pick yet, have we?
No, we haven't. I noticed. Other than the Jordan Love, if he doesn't play,
Oh, the caveat. Right. Okay.
but that's
Okay.
it.
All right. Cool. So
And
let's see.
I
We
don't
got.
know if we're gonna have a different one. The way I'm looking at the rest of the games.
Yeah,
But
I
anyway, go
think
ahead.
I'm pretty with you, unless you're. Well, I won't even say it. Okay. So now Steelers at Broncos.
Yes. Um. Well, Pittsburgh's done enough on defense to convince me that I'm wrong again. Um. I think they'll get even better if Russell Wilson takes over at some point on offense. Even though their offense was not impressive at all field goals. But I'm gonna pick them another road team 23-21 in a tight game, but Denver is my upset pick.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Okay. That's awesome. Okay. Cool. All right. So I am. First of all, if you have the Steelers defense in fantasy, you're loving life this week. After Bo, what did we call him earlier? Bo picks. What do we
Bo
call him?
picks,
Bo
yeah.
picks. I love that. So and listen, any rookie quarterback, I don't care if it's Bo or any of them that are playing this year against this Steelers D, I'd be fired up. Um, so, and I liked what I saw out of their offense, believe it or not, even though they kicked 18 field goals or whatever it was, six field goals. I was mildly impressed based on the fact that so many things are new, and Russell was a late pull from the starting lineup, all that. So I'm going Steelers 23-12. And then again, picking an inordinate amount of road teams this week.
Yep. And we said this off air as well. This week's slate of games is not nearly as enticing and titillating as week one.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's like maybe three games where you're like, oh, that's a cool game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But last week it was just matchup after matchup that was awesome. So yeah, I'm with you, man. And there were some that you were thinking would be a little better that after week one, you're like, Bengals Chiefs. No. you know? So, and in fact, you might say that about this next one too, which is after the week one performance by the Bears, all of a sudden the Bears at Texans doesn't look nearly as interesting as I thought it might.
Yeah, it's still kind of interesting. I'm willing to give Caleb a little bit of a reprieve. First game, rookie, all that stuff. But Houston looked great. Um, I'm really impressed with them, and the fact that he did struggle as much as he did does have me concerned. I got to see it before I can believe it, before I can call it, before I can pick it, and therefore Houston at home too. Chicago pulled that game out miraculously. They're not going to be able to do it this week. Houston's a better team, bottom line, and I got them with a significant win, 31-13.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, you one thing you can count on pretty much close to 100% is CJ Stroud's not going to make any bonehead plays like Will Levis did,
Right.
which eliminates two-thirds of the Bears scoring. so, um, so yeah, I was so impressed with the Texans. I mean, they went on the road, beat a good team, and the way they did it was super cool. They are a well-rounded team, man. There's no weaknesses on that offense. And
And their
this
defense isn't bad either. The
Their
defense is.
defense, I'm not quite sure how good yet, but they are at least solid. They are at least solid.
Yep.
If they can be a top even 15, top 10 or 15 defense with this offense, they are a contender, man, no doubt.
Yep.
So, and again, I'm with you. I think there's better things ahead and not too far down the road for the Bears. But by the way, while we were talking, Roma Dunze is officially week to week with a knee, probably out this week. Um,
Well, that's even worse. Yep.
yeah. So I'm going to take the Texans in a bit of a whooping, 35-16.
All right. 31-13, 35-16. Not
Yeah, pretty
bad.
close. Pretty close. And
Pretty
that's the
close.
Sunday nighter, by the way. I forgot to mention.
Right. Did you have a an upset pick?
I forgot to do it. So let me introduce this last game, and while you're doing your thing, I'll figure out my my upset pick.
Okay. Sounds
All
good.
all right. So I'm very curious to see where you're going here. We got Falcons at Eagles on Monday night, and the only good thing that came of this damn Brazil crap was they gave the Eagles a really long week. So I've never been happier to be on Monday Night Football.
Right. That's good. Um okay. Well, as I said in the review, Philadelphia, the questions that I had with them got partially answered to some degree, but not fully answered. And I got to see it for more than 1 week. But Jordan Love was a little better. Offensive line was better. Saquon looked great. Defense was concerning to a degree. They gave up a lot of points. I think the defense comes up a little better in this game, and the offense continues to roll. And maybe Hurts keeps getting a little better. And I'm going to go 30-20 Eagles. And I'm tempted to go more like 30-27, make it closer. But Atlanta, I don't know. They're okay. They're okay, and everybody has them picking them to win the division. But I mean, they lose this game, and I'm assuming they're an underdog. They're going to start out 0-2, and unlike the Rams and Baltimore and a couple other teams that I just can't see going 0-2. I see them going 0-2 because they're not going to beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. I'd be surprised if they do, and if they do, you got to see how it's done because if it's done by them just running up the score, Philadelphia's defense is in big trouble. So, but I don't think that's going to happen. 30-20 Eagles.
Yeah, I'm with you. And the defensive, that's cool you said that at the end because listen, if the Falcons put up 30 plus points or even 24 plus points in against Philly at home, I'm sweating that D for sure. Um, the angle I'm looking at too, specifically within the D, is uh, the Eagles had very little pressure on the quarterback in the game last week,
No, they didn't. Yep.
and the Falcons were a sieve. Kirk Cousins, part of the reason he played so poorly is because he was under pressure almost every time he dropped back.
Yep.
And so that offensive line is ripe for the picking. So if the Eagles can't get pressure on this offensive line, it doesn't bode well for their pass rush this year. So,
Right.
but all that being said, I think they're a better team. They are at home, so it's a relatively easy pick here. Eagles, and I'm going to go 27-20.
Okay, so you are making it a little close.
Yeah, I'm giving the Falcons some respect here, but I think the Eagles could blow them out if they play really well.
Right. Okay. Did you decide on an upset pick?
I did, and I like it a lot. And there's no doubt this is an upset if it happens. I'm going to pick the Patriots against the Seahawks as my upset team.
Okay. Yes. Home dog.
Home dog. Seahawks have offensive line injury issues. They didn't look like world beaters against a pretty bad team in week 1. They were okay. But and I listen, I think they're gonna win the game, or I would have picked the Pats just to win. But for my upset pick, I kinda like it because the Seahawks I don't insufficient data after week 1.
Right. I mean, like I said at the top of this, the league doesn't really take shape till about week 4 or 5.
I agree with you 100%, man. It's fun. And this is why we get paid the big bucks, Craig, is to try and figure it out before then.
Right. Big money over here.
Yeah. We don't make anything, by the way, out there, people. So keep watching more and tell your friends so we can eventually get paid.
Hey, it's the earliest picks you're going to get all week.
That's right, man. Yeah, that's right. And we hold our feet to the fire after if we mess up.
Yep. All right. Well, we got this done in a timely manner. Not too bad. Last year we were going through hour and a half podcasts to hour and 40-minute podcasts. This one is a nice 40-minute podcast, and we still got everything in. We're getting a little bit more efficient with our run times, which I like. and I think the listeners would like.
I agree. It feels like a good tightening up. You know, like we're not. I don't feel like I rushed through anything that I wanted to say or anything. You know what I mean?
No, no. I mean,
Yeah,
the review one is going to be always going to be longer. Our review show went about an hour and 10, but that's going to go longer because that's already talking about results.
totally, man.
This
And
is
if
just
it's an
totally
interesting week, we're going to have a lot to talk about.
right. But in this, I mean, right now, like we were talking about 4 or 5 weeks before the league takes shape, at this point, it's just guesswork.
Right, exactly, exactly. We're doing our best based off of last season, based off of off-season moves, and trying to figure out if a team that like the Falcons are a perfect example. Lots of moving parts with that team, and are they kind of worse than we thought after week one because they looked really bad, or is it just going to all come together over the next couple weeks because of all the new pieces, and they're
Well,
going to be the division winner like we thought? I don't know.
well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Is basically week one and probably week two is more like preseason games because
Yes.
these guys, the way preseason is now, that nobody plays. These guys aren't together that long. They don't know each other. It's going to take time, dude. That's why I say it doesn't take shape till like week 4 or 5 because that's about the time that these teams are who they are. They're finally who they're going to be. They're the finished product to some degree, and we're not there yet. We don't know how these teams are going to take shape. Like right now, Kirk Cousins looked terrible, and by week 4 or 5, he could be the old Kirk Cousins putting up huge numbers, and everything's fine. The Falcons are winning games.
I completely agree, and that to me is more likely than them looking like they did last week for 4 more weeks. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the more likely scenario.
And I'll tell you what, it makes it all the more impressive what Harbaugh did with San Diego in his first week there because there's a ton of new coaches. You know, some of
Yeah,
them won, some of them lost, but this was, the Raiders were a solidly mediocre team by the time when after Pierce took them over last year. You know, they
yeah,
were solid, like almost 500 team.
yeah.
And they kicked their
Right.
ass.
Yeah, and the only teams that are really going to look pretty good out of the gate, the teams that have the least amount of changes, like the Niners,
Exactly,
and that's why
exactly.
they look so good.
They looked incredible. Absolutely. Coaching
'Cause-
staff sane. Players mostly sane. Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
And like the Eagles, tons of moving parts on that defense this year, and it showed in week one. Is that going to come together, or is it going to be like last year the whole time? I don't know.
that's what's the best about early season NFL. There's so many questions, and you get your answers in little slow drips here and there, and then the injuries start, and then that impacts everything, and you just watch it unfold like a blooming flower. It just unfolds in front of you.
Yes, or even a bloomin' onion. Oh shoot, you went away, Craig. Oh, it's okay. I think.
I got a call. Sorry, I didn't turn
Oh, no worries,
my
man. No
ringer
worries.
off.
All good, all good. They stepped on my
Okay.
bloomin' onion joke, but it's all good.
Oh yeah, I heard your blooming onion joke.
No, I agree with that. That way you just talked about that, the slow drip and all that. That's just a wonderful description. I love the way it unfolds during the season. You like football for the same reason I like football. I
And
love it, man.
and the best part is 99% of the time it unfolds in a way we weren't expecting.
Yeah, there's no chance that at the end of the year, well, first of all, our picks are different in a lot of ways anyway, but there's no chance either one of us are going to have all our picks right at the end of the season. There's no chance.
No, no, no,
And if we
no.
do, if either one of us does, if it's me, I'm moving to Vegas, and if it's you, I'm coming to get you, and we're moving to Vegas.
All right. Well, okay. So we mentioned the Bring 'em Out podcast last one, but you can bring it up. Let us know again.
Right on, real quick. It's on YouTube under Soul Joel TV. The That's the channel. The podcast is Bring 'em Out. 86 episodes of lots of yucks and laughs and good stuff. If you like comedy, and yeah, hopefully we'll be back later this month with fresh episodes.
Fantastic. Don't forget about Perks Recap, the music reactions. Just put up a Ramones one, and I'm in the process of putting up a Jerry Garcia one. And then Al has a couple of suggestions that I'm getting to next. So,
Woohoo!
doing that
Beautiful.
as always.
And anybody that listens to this, that watches Craig's recaps, check out the Ramones one and check out the one note guitar solo. It's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was a one note guitar solo until you told me, and now I went back and listened, and yeah, it's
You
pretty
saw what
cool.
you listened. You heard what I was saying. Isn't that
Yeah,
cool?
it's pretty cool. One note as a solo.
He literally hits the same note about 35 times, and that's the whole solo. I freaking love
And all
it.
their songs are so quick. They're all
oh,
under 3 minutes, all of them.
oh, and here's what's wild, man. Before you're done with your Ramones thing that you're on, do a live version of even maybe even a song that you already did, or just do a live something because they amp it up. They take a 3 minute song in the studio and they do it in 2 minutes and 10 seconds live.
Oh, okay, even better. Wow,
Yeah, yeah, they amp up the RPMs.
fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to going down that rabbit hole.
Love it, my man.
Okay, so that'll do it. Until next week, everybody enjoy the games. We are two sleeps or one sleep away from Buffalo, Miami, and then the weekend games. Not the best matchups, but it's the NFL. We're all still going to watch.
No doubt. It's early season two. If we're going to have a week that doesn't look great matchup wise on paper, early's the time to do it because there's all kinds of intrigue and questions to be answered.
Yep. Okay, Al, thanks for joining me as always. And until next time, I will see you later.